Sherry lovers. Today I'm making this so comforting pot pie soup, and it is delicious, so stay tuned. Today I'm pairing this pot pie soup recipe with Red Lobster Cheddar Bay biscuits. Now, a friend of mine suggested that I try this recipe out, and she told me to try the Red Lobster Cheddar Bay biscuits with it. Now, remember, you don't have to go out and buy this. I actually went online and I looked up this recipe, and they actually have several copycat Red Lobster Cheddar Bay biscuit recipes online, so you could try that, or you could actually use your own biscuit recipe. Either way, it will be fine. But she told me that this recipe was amazing. I went out and tried it, so this is a new recipe for me, even though I did try it for the first time, and it was delicious. And I thought that I would share it with you since my family and I loved it. So let's get started with the ingredients. Okay, we're gonna go over the ingredients here. We have here 4 tablespoons of salted butter. Now in this dish right here is 1 medium onion, which equals a cup, so it's about size of a medium onion. And also I have in here 2 stalks of celery cut up in petite sizes. You want to make sure that you cut your carrots and your celery in petite sizes because this isn't a long cooking recipe, so you want to make sure your vegetables are tender. And here we have 2 small carrot stalks, and you want to chop them up in petite sizes. Also, we have over here is 2 garlic cloves, and they are minced. And then, of course, we have our box of Cheddar Bay biscuits, which we will actually put in the oven during the time we are cooking the soup. And then we're going to have 2 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil. We have here a bay leaf. You only need 1 bay leaf. And then we have here, I mixed the black pepper and the thyme together. You got a 1/2 teaspoon of thyme and a 1/2 teaspoon of black pepper. And here we have 3 cups of very finely diced, as you can see, these pieces are very small. Don't make them larger than 1 inch. Pieces of potatoes because we want them to fully cook. And then we have a quart, 32 ounces of chicken stock or chicken broth. Then we have 1/4 cup of flour. And here we have 1 can of condensed cream of celery soup and 1 can of condensed cream of chicken soup. And here we have 2 large chicken breasts, and you can see the pieces, how they're chopped, pretty small sizes, about, no, don't make them bigger than 1 inch. But those are the sizes, and you want to chop them up. And then we have 1 12-ounce package of mixed vegetables. My mixed vegetables consist of corn, string beans, carrots, and peas. And then we have our salt and pepper that we're going to add later on to the rest of it. But I just wanted to also say in this cup, I've already seasoned those 2 large chicken breasts. After I chopped them into pieces, I seasoned them very well with salt and pepper. Now that we've got our ingredients, we're going to put this recipe together. You're going to love it. Okay, let's get started. The first thing we're going to do is brown the chicken pieces. Now what you're going to have to do this in 2 batches, but you want to spread this out. Let your oil, I just added 2 tablespoons of oil, and spread this out so that they're not on top of each other. And again, you will have to do this in 2 batches, but you want this to cook. You want it to brown about 4 minutes on each side. So we're going to turn the timer on for 4 minutes, and we're going to let that cook. And after 4 minutes, I'm going to come back and flip it over and show you what it looks like, and then we'll continue from there. Okay guys, I want Larry to come right in here so he can see our 4 minutes for this side is up. And all you want to do is flip your chicken pieces over and make sure you get them all turned over. And you might have to do like I do occasionally.
Go ahead, use your fingers. That's what you use.
Oh, I will. If some of them don't want to cooperate like I want them to. But yeah, you just flip all the pieces over and set the timer for an additional 4 minutes. Okay, now we're going to let that cook for 4 minutes on that side, and then I'm going to come back and show you what to do from here. Okay guys, this was the rest of the chicken. I cooked them all up, flipped them over for the 4 minutes on each side, and now we're going to just add all the chicken into the plate. And we're gonna let that rest right there while the next step is to add in our butter. And you're going to let this butter completely melt. And once it's completely melted, we will add in our celery, onions, and carrots. And that's gonna actually cook for about 10 minutes. You wanna come back and check it occasionally, stir it occasionally until your vegetables are lightly browned. Okay, so we're going to get that all melted and we're going to just pour in those vegetables real quick here. Got our onions and celery. Remember, you've got your celery and carrots chopped up in petite size. And then we're going to just mix that up. Let it get nice and coated. And put that on medium-high heat. Okay, and then you're gonna let this cook for, like I said, approximately around 10 minutes. We'll set the timer. And then check it every 3 or 4 minutes to make sure it's not going too fast. And then I'll be back to show you what to do next. Okay guys, if Larry will look here, our timer just went off and the onions are lightly browning here, as you can see. And now the next thing we're gonna do is pour in our garlic. And you're gonna let your garlic actually cook about, stir it up really good so you can get that all mixed up in there. And then let that cook for about 30 seconds. And that's it. Okay, we've got that nicely coated. I see that nicely browned color in there. And then the next thing you're going to do is add in your 1/4 cup of flour. You're going to stir that up until it gets nice and completely mixed like a paste, but it's going to make a nice little thickening coating around the vegetables. And that just stir it for about 45 seconds to a minute. Kind of make sure that the flour is nicely dissolved in there. Okay. And the next thing you're going to do is add in your chicken stock, or you can use chicken broth. And you want to pour that slowly. You don't want it to splatter. Now, we're going to stir that as we pour it in, so you don't want to pour the entire jar. And it'll thicken as you pour that in. And that's going to take you a couple of minutes, so don't be in a rush, because it's going to, you'll see it start to thicken. The flour will cause it to thicken. And make sure you got this on a medium-high, because if it's down too low, it'll take a lot longer to thicken. And then as you see that that's thickening, you want to add in a little more of your stock or your broth. So you can pour it in probably about a 1/4 cup at a time, maybe a 1/2 cup. Yeah, 1/2 cup would be better. And then just mix that up, and you'll see that start to thicken. And you want to continue that until you've got all of your broth put in there. So that's going to take, again, like a couple more minutes. So I will let that thicken and get all the broth in there, and I'll be right back. All right, guys. Next thing we're going to do is pour in these potatoes. Make sure you got your potatoes petitely diced. You don't want them more than an inch. As you can see, this is the size you want them to be so that they will cook within the time frame allotted. You add in your potatoes. The next thing we're going to do is pour in our with your pepper and your thyme. You want to stir that. Get it mixed up in there. You still have your pot on medium-high. And then you want to add in your bay leaf. And the next thing you want to put in is your vegetables. Carefully put that in there. You don't want it to splatter. I'm good at making messes. Okay. Got our vegetables in there. You want to mix that up. Don't worry if it's frozen, it will break up as it sits in there. And now the last thing we're going to add in, let me get my spatula. Is the can of, this is the condensed cream of chicken and the condensed cream of celery. So we want to slowly add that in there so we don't splatter. Okay, and then we want to stir that, get everything coated and mixed. Now, if you're like me, you'll probably have to add a little bit more salt and pepper. Of course, that's to Larry's liking. I'm not a big salt person, but I will add a little more pepper to my taste, and he can add more salt to his taste because he likes too much salt, in my opinion. Okay. Now we've got that mixed. The next thing we want to do is take this lovely chicken and also mix that in there. Stir that well. Okay. Now, we've got everything mixed in the pot. We want to let this come to a full simmer, not a boil. You just want it to simmer. And you want to set your timer for 20 to 30 minutes. After 20 minutes, take your fork and check your potatoes and see if your potatoes are fork tender. If they are fork tender, they are done. But otherwise, let them cook for another 5 to 10 minutes until they are soft enough. All right? So we're going to, at this point, we're going to take these Red Lobster Cheddar Bay biscuits and we're going to bake them. So we'll have these ready at the time that the soup is done. We'll be back.
Hello, cherry lovers. I am back. Joyce made this wonderful chicken pot pie soup. And we also got cheddar biscuits. And I'm going to eat this stuff. I've had it before. And when we found out about this recipe, it was fantastic. Let's show everybody it. So that's what I'm going to do. And we're going to try this. And I'm going to tell you what I think. Of course, if you can probably see it, it has just come off the stove and it is very, very hot. So here we go. Hot. You talk about flavor. It's pot pie without the biscuit or without the crust. And this is fantastic. So let me try some of this. Then I'm going to dive into those cheddar biscuits there, and we're going to eat them. Wow. On a cold winter night. And these are just like restaurant style. Oh man, you talk about good. Now, if Joyce wants to film me eat the whole thing, you guys can stay here because I'm going to eat it and I'm going to eat a lot of it. But if you guys like this recipe and like Joyce's video, hit the thumbs up right there, right there. Don't cost you nothing. We love the subscriptions. We love having you. And I'm going to eat the rest of this dinner because this is my dinner tonight. See you guys on the next one. Bye now.
And don't forget to remove your bay leaf.
And don't forget, yeah, she told me totally. Don't forget to remove the bay leaf. She told me that at the very beginning. And I forgot. So don't forget.